Hey, it's Carly.
Hey, it's Shamina.
Hey, it's Oksana.
And we're
Emotion.
welcome to the final countdown. We made it to the last season, first episode of last season. How exciting.
Do you feel honored?
I do. I'm grateful to be a part of this.
So today we are going to talk about, our theme for the last season is going to be kind of chapters ending, new chapters beginning, feelings, emotions, actions, it all.
Oh, all the things.
All the things.
Experiences.
And so our goal, experience. So our goal is to try to have guests on to hear their experiences.
Yes. So, are you ready?
I always mess it up. Are you? What is it?
Are you?
Are you?
Are you? It hasn't been that long since we last recorded.
Okay, so
we have a guest with us today, a returning guest.
yes, she might look familiar.
We've had
Oksana.
So today, me and Oksana went to high school. Well, all three of us went to high school together, but me and Oksana were in the same grade. We met freshman year, but we didn't really become. We didn't become really friends till probably sophomore year-ish. Yeah. But we're coming up on our 10-year reunion now.
Exciting.
So
2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
So crazy.
I don't feel that I'm old enough to be going to a 10-year reunion.
I feel like we should just skip the 10 and go straight to 20.
Anyways, so we're going to kind of reminisce on the past 10 years that's leading us. What have we been through? And it can even like talk about our friendship, how our friendship has evolved and developed, and how we're making it to 10 years out of high school. What? Okay. So let's go back 10 years.
Okay, what, 2012?
2012, baby.
2012, okay.
Best year. I loved our senior year.
You were still in high school. What was one year? But should we start at 2013? Because that's when you graduated.
No, because I think 2012 was like super traumatic for me because I hung out with you guys all, Carly and I were like super close at that point. Mm-hmm. And then y'all graduated and you left. And I think I've talked about this on the podcast, but I remember, so the seniors always get out early. And that was like a super depressing day on your guys' last day. And then the next day, the underclassmen resume school as usual. And I walked into the lunchroom and I just like sank because I had nobody to sit with. I had nobody that I really talked to in my class. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with myself now? And I had to like reemerge into my own class because all I did was just hang out with you guys all the time.
You're like, hey, I know we haven't talked in like a year or two. What's up?
You mind if I sit here, please?
It's funny because I feel like although when we were juniors and that happened with the senior class, there were some that I like hung out with, but I think I stayed true. Like my closest friends were in my class, besides like you being a year younger.
But you were still in our classes. Do you get what I'm saying? So like you were in the
upper
classes pretty much. That's why you probably were so like around us so much.
Well, yeah. And did we have the same lunch, Mina?
We had the same lunch. We had, I think it was like first period, because I think that was Thursday's class, or what the heck was that? Economics or whatever.
Yeah. But I thought she made me switch to have it fourth period because I showed up late so much first period that she was like, I love you, but I gotta start marking you tardy if you're gonna keep showing up this late.
Because when we switched semesters, my second, the government or whatever, you weren't in my class.
Yeah, and I think that's because she was like, second semester, you need to make it fourth period.
I don't remember. We had that. We had my mom's class. Like,
Yeah.
there was a lot.
Yeah, we had a lot.
Mm.
See, things like that's a blur to me. Like, I remember like most things, but like I don't remember what lunch I had. I don't remember. I do remember sophomore year, you had Mr. Buga before me, and then I had lunch, and then I went to him. So I'd be like, "Oh, what did we do?
Yeah,
like, how was the test?" Things like that, because he was scary. But anyways, okay.
Yeah.
So
I was like, that wasn't senior year. That wasn't 10 years ago. That was more like 12.
Oof, we're going back.
Yeah.
Okay, so we graduated high school.
I stayed local.
And I went to
still local, but I mean I stayed Port Richey.
Yeah, and I just went to the like bigger city, Tampa, for school. But so freshman year, I feel like we didn't really hang a lot.
No, because
Freshman year of college.
Because when we had graduated, I was still with my ex at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into like a really depressed, like when school actually started, that's when I was just basically going to work, going to school, coming home, sleeping. You know what I mean? Like I was just.
Yeah, because I think about it now and I'm like, I'm remembering freshman year, because freshman year I commuted to college. So I was going back and forth, but I don't remember you coming in the picture until I lived in the apartments and you would come and visit me and say like the weekends and stuff.
There would be times like you would come to your parents, like when you were at your parents and you'd say like my other I would come over, like I felt like we would hang out sometimes, but there was other friends that because I was in a relationship, so I felt like that was a priority.
Are you talking about freshman year of college right now?
Yeah, like
okay.
I don't want to. I'll just say initials like
D-Dog.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of those people who put my relationship first, and I feel like now, like that's definitely a 10-year thing. Is like I'm trying not to put my relationship before my friends and my family. I'm like.
I think that's something you have to learn, because I was the exact same way. I did the same thing, and now I'm like that. I'm not doing that again. Like I'm not saying you'll be like equal, but I'm not going to choose you over them. It's an equal balance, you know. Yes. Like obviously sometimes we're gonna do things, but if my family or friends, they're a priority as well.
Yes,
because they last longer. No offense,
absolutely.
They're gonna last longer than you.
Yeah.
So. And the timeline proves it. Yeah. All my friends are still here. Ain't got no partner.
Amen.
Anyways, okay, so fast forward to sophomore year of college. You would come drive down and visit me a lot, and we would go to like parties and things like that.
So wait, 2013
was freshman year. 2014 was sophomore year of college.
2014. Yeah. That's when I would so that's when I actually had my car. It was under my name. I was paying for all my shit so nobody could take it away. So then I was going out to visit you a lot more.
Except the tow truck people.
Oh my God. Get your registration renewed. They will give you a ticket and tow you. So you're gonna be twice the amount.
My brother had that happen on UCF's college campus. Like he was trying to wait for it to get done, and then he was like, "Where's my car?"
Yeah, someone stole that bitch. That's what happened.
He came over to my apartment one weekend. We went out.
We went out. But the girl that we were with, Amanda, was like, "Oh, they're gonna tow my car. They're gonna tow my car." Do you remember that?
Okay. Oh yeah, she was so. Fast forward next morning, she's like, "All right, y'all, I'm gonna go home." She calls me. She's like, "Carly, someone stole my car. It's not here. I know I parked it." And I'm like, "Chill. Like, let's, I don't think someone stole your car. Let's think about this." And then I think we went to the front office, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that got towed." And she was like, "Why?"
Called the police.
Oh,
we called the police, and I was like, "I think someone stole my car." And they're like, "Let's run the license plate or whatever." Yeah. And then they're like, "No, it got towed." And I'm like. They gave me the person's number, and I'm like, great. Like,
well, because we went to the front office and we were like, why did her car get towed? It was in a visitor spot. And they're like, oh, her registration was expired. And we're like, that's not your job. Why do you care about that? She was in a visitor. Anyway, so that was a whole day worth of.
That was an event, and I was like, keep the car. It's worth more, or it's worth less than like $300 to get my car. And he was like, well, if you get it today, it'd be $200. And I'm like. Fuck, like that was a good one.
So that year you would come a lot on the weekends and visit, and we would go out. Then the following year,
that's when I came to Tampa.
Yeah, Yes, you were her roommate.
Yes.
Yes, that was that.
Yes. Me and
It was
Shamina were
2014,
roommates.
2015, yeah.
Oksana lived in the building behind us. But then you only lived there for like a semester. Because then you moved to California.
Yes.
So
that was tough.
Moving.
The move.
So what it was is like I said, the first year after graduating, so 2012 to 2013, that year, I was like in a hard spot. Like I was partying a lot. I wasn't like in the good state of mind. That following year, so 2013 to 2014, that's when I started hanging out with you again. And like that's when I started hanging out with, not saying other people weren't solid friend groups, but people that I know that would have my back. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So I really built that with you, Carly, Shamina, and Sydney. Like you guys were the three people that I would hang out with. Like every single day I would go over to you guys' house, hang out, we'd make food, we'd hang out, do other things.
Fro-yo.
Yeah, like we would just chill. So like going to California, like I knew like, okay, I'm gonna start going to school full, like I had that mindset of I'm gonna fucking do my shit here. You know what I mean? Like because I already built that with you guys. But it was hard again because I also didn't have that friend group.
You know
what I mean?
Support. That's
like
stuff.
At the end of the day, it was me and my brother. And that's when I started partying a lot again and going out and shit. But it was tough. It was tough because you didn't know who to trust. There's friends that I would hang out for like a good solid month and a half and never see them again. But
So what prompted that move to California?
So my brother was out there. He moved out there, I want to say a year and a half or 2 years before me. And he was like, oh, it's so nice out here. Actually, let me take that back. I spent a full summer. So before I moved down to Tampa, I spent a full like 2.5 months, a month in California and a month in Hawaii. And I think that's also helped me think about like family. Like I spent so much time with family and like, it was just good. You know what I mean? Like, cause my parents separated 2000. So I never got to spend time with my mom and my mom's side of the family or my dad's side of the family. So doing that allowed me to see them. So I thought moving back would make me closer to them and everything, which it did. I definitely got to spend a lot more time with my grandma, my cousins, my aunts. Like it was nice. But he kind of motivated me because of schooling. Like
your brother.
Yeah, so I always think that I could have gone to a university straight out of high school, you know, but I think financially, like I couldn't do that. So California gave me that opportunity because they had BOG waivers, they had a lot of scholarships, they had a lot of opportunities for schooling. And my grandma had a place out there. She was willing to rent it to my brother and I. So it was good. It just worked out really well.
Do you feel like the move to California was in your back, like looking
absolutely
back, you think?
Absolutely. I graduated.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to do that here.
I think like as hard as it was not having a support system, I think it eliminated all of the other distractions.
100%.
You know, like you had us that were like your strong support system, but then you did still have people from our local town that were like hitting you up. And because I know the year that me and you lived, we were neighbors, that was also a year that we got into a really big fight.
Yeah. I don't even remember what it was about, to be honest.
But I just remember she would, I wasn't talking to her and she'd be like, I know you're home, your light is on. And like talk to me.
You know what it is though, is because like we would hang out so much that there was times when I would still go hang out with people in Port Richey. And I think there might have been a thing that I might have bailed on you or like said I was going to do. There had to have been something like that too. Like, cause I'm like, it couldn't have been like,
I think it was back and forth because you'll tell me what you truly want, but then around other people, you appease them.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that's not what you told me.
Yeah.
And then it was like, you were like, oh, I don't mind. And I was like, all right, then you don't mind. I'm out. I'm going to back away, let you do your thing. Yeah. And then, so I was just like,
and I'm still like that kind of like, I'm definitely a people pleaser and I do things for other people. And like you said, it's like, you were that yes girl, and I still feel like I am that yes girl, and I'm aware of it now. So I'm trying to learn how to say no. You know what I mean? And then like sometimes they'll still call you and be like, guess what? I said no.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's a big thing or not, but to me, it's a small accomplishment.
A big thing.
Yeah, it's a very big thing.
But small steps lead to big achievements. So like you have to give yourself that pat on the back when you do it, because if you don't celebrate those little wins when you do a big one, it's not going to seem like a big deal because you're going to be like, oh, I should have done that already, you know. And it's like, no, that takes a lot of practice. So but
you can't even change something until you start to become aware of it. I think the awareness piece is the hardest part, and then catching it in the moment of like, oh, I did it again, because then you can start changing it or saying no or setting more boundaries.
And for me, I'm very stubborn, so I think that I need to find that healthy balance of, I was once like that yes girl, yes for everything, but now I feel like I'm like that no, like I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. I'm like, I gotta find a healthy balance of like, all right, Carly, you have to do some things, you know. So which I think I'm starting to get into, but yeah, I think for me,
you went out last night. That was a yes.
I know. That's what I'm
and
saying.
She didn't say, let's go. I need to go. I want to go.
She did.
Because I knew in your eyes you were ready to go. Like as soon as I was like, are you ready to go? She's like, yes, let's go. It wasn't like, no, are you? It was like, yes. I was like, okay, we're going.
Where'd you go?
I felt bad because I didn't even get to say bye to everyone. I was like, okay, bye. Because she was ready. She's like,
well, no, because you were in front of me and we were sitting and you were like, yeah, I want to go. Like, they're all sitting. Like, let's just go. And I was like, all right, let's go. And then you just like, were like, all right, bye. And I was like, okay, bye. Nice meeting everyone. And then we went. I was like, so it was a little bit of both. But I definitely wasn't like, yeah, let's sit back down and keep doing this.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
We went to the Lightning watch party. So like, since the game was away, you can still go to the Amalie, like the tickets were really cheap and they just play the game on the Jumbotron. It was cool. I liked it more than when I went to the actual game at the Amalie, but that's just me. Anyways, back to our 10-year rewind. So you moved to California. I think when you first moved, me and you talked a lot. And you actually surprised me and flew down for my 21st. Yeah. So then I did see, because you moved in like December. And then in May, you
came back.
Yeah. But then I think with the time change and stuff,
I would call you a lot and you're like, oh, I'm working or I'm busy or everything was like.
See, I don't remember that stuff.
I felt like as soon as maybe I was in school full time and working, that's when everything started to like simmer down.
Yeah. Because there would be times where we would go months without talking or like months or like, you know, maybe I would shoot you a text. Yeah. Or you would try to shoot.
Or Snapchat, like something small, but we wouldn't like, but when we would talk on the phone, we would talk on the phone.
Yeah, it was like we would go months without talking, and then when we would talk, it would be like a week straight that we would have like, and I feel like that's funny because that's how I am with my cousin now. She's in Texas. We won't talk for months, and then when we do talk, it's all of a sudden like every day we're calling each other for like a week, and then all of a sudden it goes silent again for a little while. Yeah. So how long were you in California?
I moved there, it was like 2014, 2015, and then I left 2020, so 5 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah. I did, and it's crazy though because when I think about it now, I really did a lot when I was there. Like I went to Mexico, LA, San Diego, Vegas. You know what I mean? Like I did a lot of shit, but I feel like it's not where I wanted to. Like when I think about it now, it's like I did all that shit, but I wish I would have been like investing that time and money into something that's structural. Tangible. Like, like
but you have all those experiences. Absolutely, like I've never been to Mexico. You know, but
you've been to Ecuador.
Yeah,
that's where you go. I have been trying to think of the country that you have gone to for like a couple of weeks now, and I'm like, I know because I wanted to figure it out. I was like, I know it's in South America. Like, that's where it was.
Yeah. Yes.
You actually came and visited me.
I was gonna say that in
once because I think I came down here like maybe twice or 3 times that whole time that I was gone.
And I visited you, it was like April of 2015.
No, the following. No, not 2015.
Yes, it was.
Not that year. No, because I came here in May of 2015.
I graduated in December of 2015 and I visited you after that. So
2016.
No.
You graduated December of 2015, April of 2016.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay. So anyways, she did come visit me.
Yes, for a week. It was fun.
Yeah.
Then I went home.
Yeah.
We did a lot. We did a
yeah.
lot because I had been to San Fran that summer that she spent in California. My family also went to California. We only went for like a week. She was in San Fran. I was in San Diego. She got a bus ticket.
Oh, yeah.
Went down to San Diego, spent a couple days with me, my family.
No, I took a train. To LA, and then from LA to San Diego, I took a bus. That mega bus smelled. I sat in the back. It was disgusting.
It was like a 17-hour. Wasn't it really long?
The train, yeah. Like I left early in the morning, and I didn't get there till late at night because the bus in LA got shut down. I had to wait in LA for a few hours, but then you have to stop everywhere. Sorry, keep going. That was just an
So she got to my family's house in San Diego. We spent like a couple, like 2-3 days there. Then we drove back up to San Francisco. We drove the coast coming back home, so we didn't do it with you. We drove up to San Francisco. My family stayed in the city, but her family was right outside of the city. So we pretty much were going back and forth, reach like the hotel to her family for like a week. So I guess I was there for 2 weeks. And yeah, that's when we like explored San Fran. And then I went and visited you again after I had graduated with my undergrad. So, and then I feel like shortly after that, it was kind of like I had met my ex. Oh no, I had met him before because
I came down and I visited one time and you guys were together. You guys were together but not living together because you lived over in Sierra's old house, I think. That yellow one. Yeah. And I remember we went and we watched like one of the basketball games over at like a little bar and stuff.
But I had met him right before I went and saw you in California in April. Because remember,
he kept calling you.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, like.
And then And then
isn't it interesting how like you go on trips and because that's like a theme because when you went to the DR it was kind of like this and the constant calling and
he wasn't interested when I was there right in his face, but then the moment I was like doing my thing, what are you doing? Like literally clockwork when I was in California at like 7 a.m. Like Oksana would still be knocked out and I'd be like, hello, like answering the calls. And then there was something that happened that made me mad.
She would go to the back. She would go in the back thing and sit over there and like
on the back porch.
Yeah, the back porch.
Anyways, that's over.
Yeah, but so yeah, I remember that.
But so then I had met him, and then I think that's when you started to that's when you met.
I met my ex. So leading up into my ex, I think I was really focused on myself. I didn't date anybody for I want to say 2.5 years of me being like I would go on dates and stuff, but like relationship wise, no. We actually met through work. We knew each other for I want to say about like 10 months before we actually started dating. Yeah. And that was hard.
What was hard?
The relationship. Like I feel like when it starts rough, it's gonna end rough.
Yeah, we still hold on.
Yeah, because like, yeah.
No, but it's
I have 4 years long.
6 years.
Yeah, that was tough. But I do want to say before anything is like I'm very grateful because he supported me through not supported like financially, but like mentally. Like when I have to study for this exam. Yeah, study. There was never, no, don't do that. Come out. Fuck it. You know what I mean? He was always like, I'll take you to school. I'll do things for you if you need help. Like, it was just like very helpful.
Well, I think most people do have some good qualities. Yeah. And it's not that you're saying he's a bad person. He's just not a good person for you. Yeah. Like, I feel the same way. I'm not saying that my ex was a bad person. He wasn't good for me. We did not mesh. But so do you think okay. You were in California for 5 years, then you went to New Mexico. Do you think that if that whole part of like you following to go to New Mexico, if that didn't happen, do you think you would still be in California right now?
Yes. So absolutely.
So have you thought about going back to California? Because I know you're applying for like schools.
Yes.
So you would try, do you think you would settle down in California?
No.
Okay, so how long would you want to go back there for?
Schooling. I think for schooling, I did really well in California because, like you said, the extra things, it's like, here, I don't know, like, people like you had graduated college and you have a career kind of right now. I don't have a career. So my friends kind of have a career. So they have that disposable money. They're in that kind of lifestyle, and I can't live that lifestyle yet. And I think, like you said, the first thing to know is being aware of it. Being aware, hey, I can't go out every weekend spending $100 and something at the bar. Like you guys can, because you make that in a day or two, like a couple hours. Besides the point. In California, me and my brother, I felt like he was so like driven to whatever his goal was. He helped keep me in line. Here, nobody's there to kind of help guide me in that path. Not saying I rely on it, but it's nice to helpful. Like, I remember I would go out and my brother would be like, oh, why are you going out? You could just save money, chill with us, like keep it inside. That's when we started having like people come over, just like we would have house parties, but it wasn't like a house party. It'd be like 5 or 6 people hanging out, drinking and just chilling. And then they'd go home and that was that. And I think that's what I liked. Here, I feel like they want to go out more and
practice being a no girl.
No, but like yesterday was the thing. I was like, okay, like, no, like you said, I know you, Oksana, you're going to want to go out afterwards. And I was like, okay, like I'm ready to go, because if I do stay longer, I know I'm going to want to get to that point. So I'm trying.
And that's what matters. I think it's interesting because, and I was having this conversation with my cousin too. I think when you're living a different lifestyle than someone else, you don't realize like, so like you said, for me, like I have like a career, but then I see you and I'm like, sometimes I wish I didn't have like this career already set up, because it's like, it's already like, you know, it's like, I have it set up, like, this is what I have to follow, you know, and like, for my cousin, for the example for her is she moves around a lot, you know? And I told her, because she was saying how like it stresses her out. And I was like, it's really interesting because for me, like, I'm kind of envious of that. Like, I know that I thrive on a routine, but sometimes I wish there was a part of me that was like, I'm just going to go to California for 6 months or, you know, but I feel like but then she's envious of me because she's like, I like that you have that stability. Yes. So you know, it's just like that different perspective. And so she was like, that's why it's so important that like, we need to appreciate what we have, because there are people out there that, you know, I might think my life is boring, but then I find out my cousin's like jealous of the life not jealous, but, you know, like envious of the life I live because she wishes she had like, so I think it's really interesting like that of like, you know, you want a career because you see all these people, but then I'm kind of like, it's nice, but like, it's like I'm set in this path now. And it's like, what if I want to like do something else? Like you right now, because you've taken your time, you're getting that option to like really think it through and be like, this, I know this is what I want. Whereas I was just like, let me do this major in college and I'm not even following that major anymore, you know?
But it's kind of like the opposite of like, so because you had started younger and structured your life to have everything that you have, maybe in 5 years, you'll already be like, oh, I don't need to do any of this anymore. I saved enough money. I already have a house. If I want to, like, for me, it's like, I don't have anything to go back to that's my own. At the end of the day, you do. So if you wanted to rent out your other bedroom for 6 months and be like, hey, I'm going to go on a 6 month to Europe and use whatever they're having to fund you, you could do that. And then know that you can come back and you'll have a place, because you could say, hey, you have to move out when I come back. Do you get what I'm saying? For me, I don't have that. And yeah. I think that's what I want. Is like, I grew up, like I moved a lot. Like you've only probably lived in 2 places when you were like, your childhood. Your childhood was 2 places. I had a lot of places as a childhood. So like, I feel like I want, like when you say settle down, no, like I want a family. I want to settle down. I want to have a home. Like, and I want it to be somewhere in the South, preferably Florida, but like, yeah. But,
I went to 6 different elementary schools.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I never, like, I didn't realize that. And then a couple of years ago, I was talking to my mom and I was like, how many elementary schools did I go to? Like, that's a lot. Yeah. So.
Well, my cousin that I was talking to, she is 33. She's moved 36 different times in her life.
Oh my goodness.
She said she calculated because when she was younger, they used to move all, and I'm like that. You don't realize.
30s. I never counted. Keep going. I'm listening.
But it's just you don't ever realize like little things you take for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that I did have like a stable childhood, and I did only move once, and it was just to like a bigger house in pretty much the same area. Like some people are jumping ship every 6 months to a year, and that plays a role.
I think that's when you said the whole transition from California to New Mexico to me. I think I started building a foundation in California, so starting from zero again.
Yeah.
And like I didn't have somebody like Trevor to like really put me on the correct path. Not saying that whatever, but yeah.
I think sometimes though, at least for me, because I moved around a lot as a kid, and then we had like some stability for a while, but then, you go to college, you basically move like every year because you move into a new apartment complex, what have you, until you can really get settled. And then even after college, it was like, I moved in with your parents for a while, moved in with my mom, just like moving all over the place. And so now I'm in a stable place. And sometimes I almost get bored. And I'm like, oh, like, this is it. Like, this is the stability that I have. Like, well, let's just pick up next year and move, or maybe we'll do something else the following year. And I hate moving. Just the idea of like putting things, like packing shit to unpack it somewhere else. I'm not down with that. But I think sometimes I'd like this stability because that's something like foundationally I think is important to me. But then when I have the stability, I want then unstable, like the change constantly. So I'm never satisfied, which is actually a family trait. So
well, that's I feel like what I'm talking about of like I have the stability, I have my house and everything, but then sometimes I'm like, man, but I think for me the way that I mix it up is I'll rearrange my bedrooms. Like I'll be like, and I'll force
you've always done that too.
I force my
paint her walls.
Yes.
Hey, what color?
For me, change like that is enough that it keeps me happy for a little bit. So like I painted like this wall. I added an accent wall in my living room. I just painted the wall in my bedroom, and I rearranged, and I like make my roommate help me. He'll like come home from work one day, and I'm like, I want to move the couch, and he's just like, are you kidding me? Or like I changed my ceiling fan. I'm like, hey, can you help me change my ceiling fan? And he's like, but for me, like little changes like that, I'm like, okay, it feels like a different place now. I'm satisfied for the time being. But I totally feel where you're at, Shamina. Like sometimes I'm like, I want like I'll catch myself on like Zillow looking for houses. Yeah. I can't afford a house right now. Like no one can. But I'm like, it'd be nice to move to like a different house.
Yeah. I don't think moving would excite me. Like I think
for me, it's decorating and making it my own. It's not, I don't like moving. I hate moving, but it's making this place my own. And like when you own something, like you said, like I can do what I want. I can paint my bedroom freaking black if I want to, like, not that I would, that'd be too dark.
Are you talking crap about her room?
That's purple. It's a very dark purple.
That looks purple. This right here looks purple.
It's like if you see it in person, it's like a plum color. So it looks really nice in person. Thank you very much.
I like it.
That's what my bedroom at my parents' house used to be. I don't think it is anymore, but it was like a darker purple. Yeah. But we can go off of colors. Let's veer away from that. But yeah, so where were we? So you moved to New Mexico. How long were you in New Mexico?
So we moved there February of 2020, March. So I had graduated college in 2019, December of 2019. And my mom, for my graduation present, was supposed to take me on a cruise to Australia.
I didn't know it was there.
Yeah, we were supposed to do like a 10-day thing. We actually I was in California, New Mexico. I would fly to California. She'd fly to California. Then we would fly to Australia, and then the cruise was around Australia.
Wow.
So that's what we had everything planned. Everything was paid for and done. But then my mom was like, oh, they're gonna have to cancel the cruise and everything. So I told my ex at that time, hey, like I'm gonna go spend this time over in Florida, because at that time I didn't go back to Florida for like 2 years. Like my upper division undergrad, when I actually started San Francisco State, that's when I was like focused on school because the classes were harder. I was working. So I actually wanted to take off school. Like I had saved enough money from work. Everything. So it was like 6 months that I didn't want to do anything. So I ended up coming to Florida from beginning of March to the beginning of June. I spent a chunk of time.
And I would like to say I knew, so you didn't say anything was up, but I remember like, she's just here for like 3 months, like, you know, like between you and your partner at the time.
Yeah. So
because you didn't say anything, at least not to me.
There wasn't anything really between him and I that like we were like the reason why like I'm gonna leave, you know, from here. It was more so, hey, like I haven't, because he knew I didn't come to Florida that whole time, and when I came, that's when a lot of things like being away from family and spending so much time with my family. When I came back, I was like, this is what I miss. I got to see you sometimes. Like I just feel like in general, like being here for so long put me like, I'm not a city girl. I don't like that lifestyle. I don't want to live that life. And when I came here, there was just like a lot of dishonesties that like it was just,
you found out a lot of things.
I found out a lot of things. And when I had came back,
so would you say that was the start of when you kind of noted? Okay.
I knew, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not a city girl. Like I knew that we're just two different people when it came to our, like, we both were family oriented. We're both like that, but like what we wanted in life. Like I knew that I wanted to settle down here. He was like, oh, well, can't we do something closer? Because you can't, it's hard when you have family, Florida and then California. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Move
you know
to
what I mean?
Texas.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, that's so far. And I don't want to be in Texas. Like I wouldn't mind it now, but like at that time, I knew that wasn't for me. And I feel like that's what like kept butting heads, is like we just didn't agree with everything. Like I'm also 4 years older, so our mindsets are different, our everything is different. But I didn't work that almost a whole year. So from February of 2020, I moved back to California in October of 2020. And
so you went back to New Mexico June 2020, stayed there till October, then went to California. And you were in California from October 2020 until
January of 2021.
Okay.
But this is the U-Haul thing when you were talking about packing, bro. I had to pay for it. So mind you, at this time I had my Jeep and my Kia, plus a bunch of my shit. So I had to bring my Kia, my Jeep, all of my stuff in a U-Haul back to California. I get back to California. I'm like, fuck yeah. I start working again. I start going to the gym again. I enroll in classes for spring of 2021.
And you just go to California.
And I just go to California.
It was just you that way.
It was just me. And I was doing really well. But then obviously I'm legally married. So for me, I grew up with parents of divorce. We've talked about this before. And I really was like, let's make it work. Like we love each other. We're just disagreeing, you know, like we need to hash it out and stuff. And I flew back I didn't officially move back until I want to say March. So January, I went there for New Year's.
Okay.
So I flew back. I spent like a week there or something.
In New Mexico.
Some things had happened. I found out about. I came back to California. I was hurt. I decided we're going to make things work. I moved back in March. That's when I moved all of my shit. And then
back to New Mexico.
Right. So March of 2021, I was there. And then I flew back to Florida in May. But that was because
May of 2021. But you didn't, that's not when you
that
moved
was only
back.
No.
Okay.
I just came for like a week or two.
Okay.
And that was because my mom because we didn't do the cruise. She was like, let's go to Tennessee.
Okay.
Or no, North Carolina. We went to North Carolina and Tennessee. That was that. And then when I came back to New Mexico, I started working. And in my head, his complaint was, oh, you're home all the time. I can't give you all of my attention. I'm exhausted. You need to go find your own. I was very codependent. Let's just say that when you're alone with somebody in a whole different state, you become codependent on your partner. That's what had happened.
Yeah.
So I started working Monday through Friday. I thrive off of structure, dude.
Mhm.
Like I like my work right now. I love that I work Monday through Friday. I know when I can clock in, clock out. Don't have to take shit home. I like that.
Yeah.
And I was working Monday through Friday. I was taking care of both dogs. Like I felt like I was doing a good job at doing what I needed to do, but I felt like I wasn't getting what I needed back.
You still weren't getting that.
Yeah, like I kept voicing, hey, remember when we were talking? Let's rewind to the first podcast. We were talking about my neighbor.
Surprise!
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Should we go in depth?
You do whatever you want.
Lies, going out, leaving me alone, not coming home, instead of coming home to me, your wife, you know what I mean? Like your dogs, he was going out to the bars, coming home drunk. It was just very toxic. And like I said, I like to drink and I like to have a good time, but not every day during the week. There's a time and I don't know, it was just a lot for me. And I think when you voice something to somebody so many times that
it's exhausting.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
You're not a mother.
But the thing is like when you walk away and you do such a big move once, you think that like, bro, like I'll do it. Don't test me, you know what I mean? But
But you went back. That's the thing. Because I was the same way. Like I didn't do like a big thing like that, but I'd be like, no, we need to take a break. But then 2 days later, I'd be like, okay. So yeah, you'll do it, but they also know you'll come back. And so I think then when like for me and for you, when we did finally, they were like, oh, you're not gonna come back.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is
really,
real.
yeah.
Now I've changed. I swear I'm different. Okay,
Yeah,
cool, good.
For sure.
Be that for someone else now.
And here we are.
I know.
10 years later.
You know what it is though, is because like when I had officially said, hey, like this is really not gonna work, it was on my birthday. Remember I told you what had happened on my birthday? That was when I knew, and I had planned an out to get back out here. You know what I mean?
You started plotting.
I had told him, I had told him, I was like, I'm going back to Florida, but I need time to pack. I'm not like when I had moved back to California, I did it within like a week and a half. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I was like, Dad, let me buy your ticket now. I need to get out of here because it was just very toxic. Things were getting thrown around the house. Things were breaking. It just wasn't for me. Yeah. This like when we left the first time, it was really angry. Like, he was calling me names. It was just really angry. The second time that I left, because I had said like, we knew at that point we are different at this point in our life. When I left the second time, like it was sad. I don't want to cry, but like because we knew like it was fine. Oh, just like laughing about it. It's gonna make me cry, but I'm because it's fine. You know what I mean? It's like it's okay. But like we had cried about it. Emotional.
It was real then.
Yeah, like because like when you plan something and people know, it's like it's real. You know? So like
you knew it was.
Yeah, like so. I came back here in October again. So.
It's crazy when you know.
No, November. Real. I came here in November.
Yeah. It's crazy when you know, like, you know it's real.
Yeah.
I think that's the worst feeling. It's like this like pit in your stomach, this like dread because you're on the precipice of like your whole life is about to change because of this decision that you're going to make.
And it's like, I don't know how to, like, it's all of that. It is the worst feeling, but I don't know how to explain how you know that it's for real this time, you know, because like I had the same when I had called him and said I'm not coming back home. It was like I know the moment I make this call, it's real, and this is real, and it was so hard. Like I don't even think I could get one word out without like I just started bawling because I knew it's real this time. Yeah. So
I think that's what sucks too is like I said, we've known each other like like before you and your ex got together, like were you guys like friends, like on a friends level? Do you get what I'm saying? I think that's what sucks about it, is because we were such good friends before, you know, and I think like when you lose a friend, that sucks, especially like imagine if, who have you known for like 4 or 5 years that's become like a really good friend? Like imagine like
Shelly,
Omar or somebody like you just can't be friends with them anymore. You know what I mean? And it's like, damn, that sucks. Like it was, because it's never always just been a relationship, and I think that's the shitty part. But yeah.
And it's funny because I feel like for my ex, it shouldn't have. I think we would have been good just friends.
Yeah.
I think if I wouldn't have pushed for a relationship, I feel like we still would have been friends to this day, because there would have been a balance of like, I can hang out with you sometimes, but we're not together. So I can also get away from you sometimes. But in the moment, I was just like, no, I want a relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
You know better next time.
Them Sagittarius men. No.
I'm dead.
But so now here we are, about to go to our 10-year reunion in 2 weeks.
I'm not excited to tell anybody that I'm legally married, because that's another thing too, is like,
so don't.
Nobody knew.
You don't have to tell no one.
Yeah, but
unless
to
they
me,
listen to this podcast. Now the whole world knows.
She's just kidding.
I'm not legally married. I'm legally separated. Yeah.
You don't have to tell no one if you don't want
you're
to.
right. You're right.
You out here doing your thing. They ask. Don't worry.
I'll owe them an explanation.
Very true.
Right now, there is not a ring on my finger, and that is all you need to know.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're closing out the chapter.
Yeah.
In the past. What's the biggest chapter you think you're closing?
Me? Do you think what's the biggest chapter I've closed or I'm closing?
So obvious, I feel like your ex is a big chapter that you've closed.
Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah.
Damn,
that's like
60% of our last 10 years.
The majority.
Well, how about this? What are you looking forward to in this next chapter?
Okay.
You go first, Shamina.
I don't know. It's not my 10-year reunion. I have 1 more year to reflect. I think I'm looking forward to doing things for myself. Not worrying about, well, I have to take care of this, or this needs to be done, or, scrambling around to get to where I want to be, because I fought all of my life to get to this place. And now I'm really trying to enjoy it instead of worrying about, well, I don't have this, or this is going on, or this is occurring. I'm very much caught up in the things that I don't have. And it's hard for me to like stay grounded in what I do, because I have worked the past 10 years to get to this place in my life. And so I'm really trying to just be more mindful and enjoy my life in the moment.
I like that. I was going to say, first off, when we keep saying 10 years, it's like,
dang,
where did 10 years go? Like,
how can we be that old that we
I don't feel like I've been doing stuff for 10 years out of high school.
Yeah. Like bro, like that's school. Like that's
but I was gonna say something similar to you. I feel like for me now, my next chapter that I'm excited about is like stepping into like my full authentic self, and like again doing things for me, and like gaining these more experiences of like life and stuff for myself. Like for instance, today I'm going to get a tattoo, and I love tattoos. I had put them off for so long because my ex didn't like them. And so now it's like I get to get a tattoo because I want a tattoo, and that's how it's going to be, so like just things like that of just like being true to my authentic self and doing what I want that'll make me happy, not based on like outsiders.
For sure.
What about you?
I think for me it's finding myself again. I'm not saying that I ever got lost or anything, but like yeah, just learning about being okay. So like I'm a homebody, but I project to be an extrovert, and I'm that person to everybody else, and everybody expects me to be that way. And I think like actually being who I am, I don't think I really care about experiences. I think like being okay to be alone again.
Yeah.
So like for example, video games, I try to not feel alone by going onto video games because there's other people that I can communicate with. But even though like I'm physically alone, I'm not really alone. And I think I need to learn how to physically be alone. I remember when I first got to California, I was doing everything alone. I would go to the beach alone. I'd go get food alone. I'd do everything alone. I'd do everything alone. And when I got into a relationship, I had somebody to do all of those things with. So I kind of, when that person was gone, it's like I said, I felt alone, but lonely, not alone. Like it was a lonely. So I'm trying to learn how to not feel lonely when I'm alone.
Well, it's interesting because last night on our way to the arena, you were saying how you feel like no one really knows who you are. You were saying like me or like other people that went to high school, but you were like, you feel like people in your life now, like they kind of see like that only extroverted part of you. And it's funny because I know that's, I mean, it's part of who you are, but I know that's not who you always, I think you level it up because you want
match their energy.
You want to match their energy, but you want to like entertain them. You know, like I feel like you think that you need to be like a little like dancing doll and like entertain these people. And I felt like that for a long time too. And now I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna be your little puppet for you. Yeah. But that's kind of like how, because I could see the moment you were around them, your energy just went way up.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing.
No. But... Yeah, no, too, because I do have a lot of energy. But that's why like I like feeling more of a mellow feel because I feel like I have more control and like I can read the room and I can do all that. When I have all of this things, I'm everywhere, you know, and it's But like I said, it's like I prefer like, I don't know, but do you think that because like I said, I like being alone, but I feel lonely when I'm alone. When I go out, like it makes me not feel alone.
You're like soaking it all up.
Yeah, but like, how do I find a happy medium? Like, what were like? Because I feel like going out and I like spending times and I like doing what we did last night.
Yeah.
But like, I preferred being outside. Like, if we were all outside, not so loud. Remember where those chairs were?
Yeah.
I probably would have enjoyed that way more than inside.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I definitely do think that it's not that I like fake who I am because I'm still like me, but my energy is definitely different. Do you remember at the Christmas party when I was like quiet and because I wasn't drinking? Like that's me normally. Like I'm just
chill. I have a challenge for the both of you.
Bring it on.
When you go to your 10-year reunion, show up as your authentic selves and see what happens. See how people respond to you, see how people accept you, see if the questions are like, why aren't you like this anymore? See what happens.
They do.
Yeah. Sorry. I feel like they always,
not them, but people have said like, what's wrong or what's going on? Like,
and I was going to say, because you were like, how do you find that balance? I feel like you find that balance by sitting in the discomfort for a little bit, and then it slowly like becomes a balance, if that makes sense. Like, don't obviously like force yourself to be in that discomfort and like never like, you know, give in, but like kind of balance it out of like, if I were to go out on a Friday and a Saturday, one night, I'm going to make myself sit in the discomfort of being alone to learn, because then it won't be a discomfort because you'll be so accustomed to like, you might even prefer it. Like there was a time where I was like, I want to be alone because I enjoy doing things more alone. Like I'd rather just sit home and do my nails than go out with y'all. But then, you know, then I needed to find the balance of, I need to go out sometime.
Yeah.
So.
But I think it's also like creating those kinds of environments for yourself that, you know, like you thrive in. So, you know, like my birthday's coming up in a couple of months. So I've been talking to Carly of like what I want to do or plans that I want to have. And I like the small, like more intimate gatherings. And, you know, there's like always the excitement of like, oh, let's go out, let's do this, you know, it's birthday, big thing kind of thing. But I know that I'm going to get really exhausted. But if I have more of like the small intimate gatherings, that gives me the energy that I need and the connectedness without having to put myself in a different situation just because like that's what you should do or that's what people expect.
Or like burn yourself out.
Maybe I'll go to the reunion completely sober, no pregame or anything, so people can see me at my normal self, because I do want to have a drink or two, not gonna lie. But then, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a drink when you want to have a drink. I think it's when you start drinking because you feel like you're like just trying to match these other people.
Yeah.
Like if you want to have a drink, have a freaking drink. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just finding that of like, am I drinking for me now or just to keep up with these people and please them?
Yeah.
And I think if you know, those like comments of like, oh, wow, you've changed, or like, why aren't you like this anymore? You've grown.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years. You know, I would be very surprised if anybody is the exact same that they were 10 years ago, and being able to embrace that.
I'd be like, why are you the same?
Yeah.
Did you not evolve at all in 10 years? Like, yeah, for sure. Because I'm always like, because I'm not 18 anymore, dude.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's why, but just a little hint.
So, are you guys feeling full yet?
Absolutely. I think I cried enough for the day. A little tear. Bye.
I always feel better when I cry, dude.
Yeah, but when I'm looked at, I don't like. No, so like this. Finish this and then we'll talk afterwards.
So just a reminder for this new season, we are going to be releasing episodes every other week instead of every week, and it's going to be a much shorter season than usual. So stay tuned for 2 weeks from now as we release our next episode of our final season.
We hope you enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.